So someone had lost a loved one and they said, but it was all worth the pain that they're going through now because there was so much love and joy that they got to experience. So there's like a give and take. Like you can't have that love without also feeling the pain. Welcome to Brick Breakers, the podcast where we break down the walls holding us back from becoming the strongest, happiest version of ourselves. Now let's start breaking those walls. Hey everyone, welcome back to Brick Breakers podcast. I am Linda Mendez Adams. Today's topic is going to be grief. So, just a quick summary before we get into it. I am going to be talking about losing my mom at 13, becoming a mom and letting go of my career, how my body changed, like grieving my old body, and the identity shift that I had, so grieving my old self as well. And the third thing that I'll be talking about is my dad's situation. So he's in Mexico, and I got the news that it's very unlikely that he will come back from Mexico, and I'll get into that. But grieving the possibility of my dad being here in the United States with me and visiting with family, and me really getting to spend time with him and bond with him. So those are the three things that I'm going to be talking about. And if you're watching the YouTube version, I am looking to the bottom right because I have notes, bullet points of things that I want to mention. And if I'm looking down, that's why. So before we dive in, I also want to say grief is more than just losing a loved one. It's losing a job, losing the old friends you used to have, or the mind shift you used to have at one point. It could even be losing your old self and becoming a whole new person. There's a lot of different things that have grief that doesn't have to just be losing a loved one, because that seems to be the most common and what most people think about when you hear someone talk about grief or the word grief. It seems like we usually go to somebody passing. So I just want to throw that in because it's more than just losing a loved one. So before we start going into it and talking about grief, I want to give you guys a quick update on me and how I've been and what I'm doing. This is my third episode, I believe, and I've been really wanting to do at least one episode every month. I would like to do more, but since I just had a baby, then it's difficult and it's challenging, but I'm making it work. I missed an episode for last month, but I was thinking of doing another one this month so that I can make up for last month, but it's already the 29th or the 30th of April, so April's pretty much over. But I could still throw another one in. So what I've been up to, I had the baby. My body's pretty much kind of almost recovered. I still have a lot of pelvic issues from labor. And what else? The baby rolled over today. That's crazy. He's 3 months now. What else? I'm still exhausted. I wake up in the middle of the night all the time to breastfeed, but instead of leaving him in his bassinet, I lay with him now, and I know that's not what you're supposed to be doing, but I did it a couple times and he's okay. I don't roll on top of him or anything. I keep my distance, and somehow my body knows that the baby's there because I'll stay in the same spot, which has allowed me to rest a little more. I am so tired and frustrated already of taking care of a baby because it's my whole life. It has consumed me, and it's so difficult to put any time into anything else that I want to do. But I'm so thankful for my husband and his support and his family's support, because it makes such a huge difference. Easter just passed. Cinco de Mayo is coming up. I'm planning a little small Cinco de Mayo thing. We'll see if I end up doing that or not. My mental health hasn't been doing the best, but I always find a way to stay optimistic, and I hope you guys are doing good. And if your mental health isn't doing the best either, that you see the awesome things and get yourself out of it. Even though you don't want to, just go for it and do it. Do something, do anything. Because if you don't and you get stuck in that, then you're not going to come out. It's difficult to come out. So let's jump into the topic now. That was a quick little summary of what I've been up to. Also, if you guys want to know anything else about what I do, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I'm usually uploading on my story on there, so you can keep up, because I could keep talking about what's been up. But let's get into this podcast. Okay, so the first story that I'm going to start off with is losing my mom at 13 and how I overcame that and things that still come up for me. So when I lost my mom to pancreatic cancer, we didn't know that's what it was. They ended up saying that that's what it was, but she was also hit by a diesel truck. Like, she was driving and she was at a stoplight and the diesel truck hit her, and after that everything went downhill. Plus she was doing a lot of labor, like intensive work, and it wasn't good on her body. We don't really know what happened. It was all of a sudden unexpected. She was fine, and then she wasn't, and within a month she was gone. So like, well, everything happened within a month, but from one day to the next she was gone. So yeah, it was, how do I explain it? It was a shock, and it was really difficult for me to navigate through it, but surprisingly I was also optimistic. I think as a kid you don't really think too deeply about things, or maybe you overthink things. I don't know. I feel like I have way more different troubles now than I used to when I was younger. When I was younger, there was like this whole emo phase that I went through, and emos were a thing when I was growing up. So I don't know, it was like cool to be like all dark and moody, I guess. I don't know, but I used to think I had problems. I didn't even know what problems were, because I thought the problems that I thought were problems weren't really problems. Like, I never thought that about our poverty and how I didn't have access to a lot of things. Like, I never knew what I didn't know. Like, I didn't know what I didn't have because I've never had it. And back then the internet wasn't like, we had flip phones. No one my age when my mom passed really had phones. If they like touch screen phones, social media wasn't really what it is now. So I didn't know that there was like all these luxurious things out there. I didn't care that I was living in a garage or in a 1-bedroom with infested roaches. I didn't know that was like, I don't know, gross and terrible conditions to live in. But I guess I thought I had problems with something else. Who knew? Maybe I was just trying to have a reason to have a problem, like fit in with everyone else, like, oh, I'm so sad. I don't know. But I'm going on a rant. The point of that, me saying that, is now that I'm older, I really understand like challenges, difficulties. I laugh because younger me has no idea what problems were, and what mental health really was, because after my mom passed, I was super happy. Not happy that she passed, but I had straight A's. I had good friends, like a friend group that I counted on. I was doing well. And now that I'm older and I see the effects of her not being here, like me graduating and her not being there, me getting married, having a kid, not having her, it's challenging. It's taken a toll on me. It's something that I think about all the time, every day, her not being here. And I guess when I was a kid, I was too caught up with doing schoolwork and a life with other things, having fun. Honestly, I also abused substances a lot. I drank a lot and I smoked a lot. I was high all day, every day, all the time. I'd wake up, smoke. I'd go to school, smoke. I'd come back home, I'd smoke. So who knows what it really was? We can talk about that another day. But the way I really navigated through that was having my friend group, reaching my goals. I didn't do therapy. I went to therapy once or twice, and I never did it. Now that I'm older, I really take advantage of it. I'm in therapy, and it's just crazy to compare my younger self to who I am now. So depending on where you are in life, you can take someone's passing or grief in multiple different ways. I would say that I did pretty good for such a young person, going through that, but it has been difficult. I would just say talk to people about how you're feeling, lean on your support group, support system, vocalize what it is that's challenging for you. Like, I remember one time in school, even though I say that I did good, it was such a difficult thing happening. I do remember being in class and being sad, and I told my teacher, I mentioned, I was like, I'm just really thinking about my mom today. Like, I pulled her aside and I said, I'm really thinking about my mom today and I'm having a hard time. And I opened up to her. Not sure if it helped or it did help, but I guess it did, because after that, she was really in my life. She helped me with things that were going on in the house. Like, one time our water pipes weren't working. She came over to unclog them. She invited us to holidays like Thanksgiving, me and my brothers, to have dinner with her and her family. So she became someone that was there for us. So I guess, yeah, it did help to talk to her, now that I'm thinking about it. So really leaning on your support and giving yourself grace. You're going to go through it and things are going to be difficult. And little by little, you'll reflect on what's going on, really appreciate the good times, and begin to feel a sense of peace with losing that person. But it never, you'll never be like, okay, they're gone. Oh well. It's more like you have a new life. You have a new normal without them. And I'm just really thankful for the time that I did get to spend with her. And she's in heaven and I'm going to see her again. And the biggest game changer was knowing that even though she's physically not here anymore, she lives through me. And that completely shifted my whole mindset, because I felt like she was gone and I lost her and I didn't get to enjoy the time here with her. But after I thought about it that way, it's like, no matter what, like anything I do, anything I create, any change I have, it's because of her. It's thanks to her. Without her bringing me here and raising me the way she did and being such a great mom, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be able to change people's lives or make someone's life better, bring joy, bring creativity, do everything I do if it wasn't because of her. So really, she still lives through me, and that completely changed my mind. And that's what I'll end that part with. The second part, or story that I want to talk about that's related to grief, is becoming a mom. So, oh boy. It's nothing like I expected to. I knew that it was going to be hard, but I didn't know that it was going to be this hard. Hold on one second. I need to take a sip of water. My throat is itchy dry. Okay, so the second story that I'm going to tell related to grief is becoming a mom. I knew that becoming a mom was going to be difficult, but I never knew that it was going to be this difficult. You don't know unless you go through it. You live an experience. Everything has been challenging. It's been nice, but it's been challenging. I never knew that I can live with such little sleep. I've had my patience tested so much. The baby's crying right now, and I'm pushing through this because he's just in a phase where he has such a hard time going to sleep, so he gets so angry. And I'm realizing right now that we just moved our rocking chair, so hopefully the yoga ball is enough to calm the baby down. If not, I'll need to go. And this will be the third time that I attempt to record this, and it's a different day, a new recording. So here we are. What I really want to mention about becoming a mom and what I've grieved is my career. I have the privilege to be an at-home mom. I've recently decided that I'm not going to be doing real estate photography, videography anymore. I'm still going to be doing social media content creation for small businesses. We'll see how that goes, because I really don't have time to leave the house and go film for someone and come back and edit everything or edit it throughout the month, because I'm constantly on mom duty, and the baby always needs someone. The baby takes 20 minutes naps and then wakes up and needs my full attention. I've had different stations, like activity stations, where there's like a play mat or a rocking bouncer baby thing where you put the baby in and it like swings the baby, or just a bouncer that doesn't swing. It could also do that, or have one of those. I have the swinging one, but I could also remove it and it's just a regular bouncer that the baby sits in. And I have tried so many different things, but it's been difficult to even brush my teeth, brush my hair, do my makeup, get a pair of new clothes on. And it's slowly gotten a little bit better, and people always say it's gonna get easier, but there's always a new challenge. And it's been, I completely have let everything go and focused on the baby. And doing this podcast right now is something for me, something that I've really wanted to do. And I've been learning how to do things that I want to do without it always being about the baby, because I have felt like I only have enough time to eat, like do things to survive so that I can care for a baby. So I only have time to eat so that I have energy and I'm alive so I could care for a baby. And it's been a huge toll on my mental health, because I had this vision in 2025 that I was going to be doing podcasts, that I was going to get my art going, that I was going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's not like that. And also my body, I've gained a lot of weight, or not a lot of weight, but I don't fit in any of my clothes anymore. And it's completely normal for you to gain weight after you had a baby. And I'm always so tired to work out. I feel exhausted because, like I mentioned earlier, I don't sleep through the night. I wake up multiple times at night to breastfeed, and breastfeeding has been a completely different challenge. Like, my whole body has changed. It doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel the same. And in a way, I am grieving that. I'm grieving that I don't feel the same. I don't look the same. I don't have the same energy that I used to. I don't have the time I used to have. And it's all been a form of grieving different things of who I used to be. And now I'm in such a different place, different mindset, and different everything. So it's something to think about. Like, if you're becoming a mom and if you're already a parent, then you know what I'm talking about. But just like I mentioned earlier, you just get used to your new life. And what I've been doing to get through it is leaning on my husband a lot, telling him how I feel, what I'm going through. I had an at-home nurse that would give me advice and tips and encourage me. I've just talked to friends and family about things that I feel that I'm going through. And I've watched YouTube videos of other moms and how they live their lives and their experiences. It's been really nice to have friends that are moms or just became moms like around the time that I did as well. And seeing them grow with their baby is motivating for me, because I know someone else is going through the same thing of becoming a parent. And it's been really nice. It's made me feel like I'm not alone and I got this. Watching moms that are working and have a baby that's been motivating, because it shows me that it's possible to do something for you and also be a mom. And that's been such a huge thing to wrap my head around, because like I said, I'm so tired. It's been such a challenge to even be able to get ready and feel good and do things for myself. I run on coffee and prayer. That should be a shirt. I run on coffee and prayer, because that's my whole day. I'm just always asking God for strength, and I'm taking sips of my coffee, if not just chugging the whole thing like today, because I was just so exhausted. So what I would say to something like this, where you're changing your career or your life, or you're grieving something like that, people really make a difference. Like, I would say the number one thing is communication with people that you love and that you can trust, because that really makes a difference. You can also write about it. I don't make time to write about it, but when you're writing about something, you really reflect and you can discover something new about yourself that you didn't know. And I would also recommend therapy. I know that there's some programs, depending on what your income is, they give you access to a therapist, and talking about it can make a difference if you don't feel comfortable or have someone that you feel you can talk about something like that with. And know that it gets better, and nothing is forever. There's always new chapter startings and other chapters closing. So it just takes time to adjust and to learn, and before you know it, you'll be in your new life. Like I mentioned in the last topic, you get used to the new life. So the third and last personal story that I want to talk about is my dad not being able to come here from Mexico. I talked to what are they called? It's someone that's experienced in immigration, and they give you advice. They're not an immigration lawyer. They're a public, I can't remember what it's called, but they pretty much know everything there is to know about immigration, and they just tell you what's the best path for you to take depending on your circumstance. And they told me that's very unlikely my dad's going to be here. I'm going to talk to somebody tomorrow that's an immigration lawyer, just to get a second opinion, because my dad wants that, and I'll also feel good if I get another opinion. But I did, when I first knew, like I had this gut feeling that my dad wasn't going to be able to come here, but I still had hope. I just cried. I cried and I grieved not being able to walk on the sand here with him, not going to the movies, not listening to music together here, not being able to be in my home and take care of him. There's so many things that I grieved, and crying through it allowed me to really process my emotions. And things aren't always going to be perfect and pretty. You gotta go through your feelings. There's no way to get through it unless you go through it. You can't just go around it. I'm sure many of you guys have heard, you can't avoid it, you can't go around it, you can't try to do something to numb it. You have to go through it, and it's okay. You're not all being here in this world. We're not always going to feel great. We're not always going to be happy. And emotions is just a human thing. We just got to go through it, feel them, process them, and then we can move on in a new way. So what I've been thinking is going to visit him. I was just really worried to do that because I didn't want my 3-month-old to get sick, because every time I travel to Mexico, they get really, really sick. I get really, really sick, and I didn't want him to get really sick. I was really worried because last time I was so bad. I had shivers. I was throwing up. I was sweating. I had a fever. My throat hurt. I had everything. I didn't know what I had. I had it all. And I missed my flight, and I had to buy a new ticket, and it sucked. It was expensive and such a pain. I got a shot in my butt cheeks. I got multiple shots on my cheeks. And I had never experienced that before, getting a shot on my butt cheek. It sucked. It was not fun. So I don't want Ezra to get sick like that. And I've slowly accepted that I may not have my dad come here to the States, and to really appreciate and be thankful for the what can be. So that's what really has helped me get through this one. Just really seeing what I can do with what I have. You know the whole saying, making lemonade with lemons? That's what I'm doing with the situation. Is what can I do? Make the best of it. Be thankful for what I can do, what I have. Like, I'm able to go to Mexico to begin with. I'm a US citizen, so I can leave the state. And not many people can do that. So I'm thankful for that. I can at least do that. And I'm very grateful. And really talking to my dad about it, and just doing what I can. I call him like every day. I call him all the time. I do little prayers with him. I filled out that little booklet that says, I want to know your story. Dad, I want to know your story. Mom, I want to know your story. I did that with my dad. If you don't know what it is, it's just a bunch of questions about their whole life. And he's blind now, and he's in a wheelchair. His health is deteriorating. I feel terrible every time I think about how he's doing, because when he wakes up in the middle of the night, he gets really anxious and he can't go back to sleep because he can't see. He can't even walk himself to the bathroom because he's having such a hard time walking. And on top of that, he's blind, and he's always in constant pain because he's on dialysis. He's diabetic. He goes and gets water changed from his body every 10 days, and he's in the hospital for 3 days. And I feel so bad, and I wish I could be there, and I wish I could do something for him. That's why I wanted to bring him here. But whatever is meant to be will be. And if there really is a way for him to come, then God will make it happen. And if it's not meant to be, then that's just what is. And I'm just going to make the best of what I can, and really vocalize what I'm going through and feeling with my support group, because that's the only way I'll feel better. I talk to Andrew all the time about how I feel, and he's always listening to me. I've cried a lot of times at night thinking about my dad and what he's going through. And that's how I'm able to be better. I used to have so much anxiety, I couldn't sleep at night. And thinking about my dad, I would stay up awake, and I had so much anxiety. And after I told my dad about how I felt, and I talked to Andrew about how I felt, and I talked about it in therapy, and I really took advantage of what I could do, I could sleep now. I just feel bad whenever I think about him, and there's not really anything I can do other than pray and let God, just lean on God, have him take all these emotions and feelings and give me strength. So that's what I would recommend to you guys if you guys are going through something similar like this, or if you have a family member that's sick, a loved one that's sick. Just do what you can, vocalize how you feel, and you'll be okay. Life sucks. It sucks sometimes, and I'm just grateful that I get to talk to him. I get to call him in Mexico. That's a blessing. People back in the day weren't even able to call, or had to use whatever money they had, little bit that they would make, to make phone calls to Mexico. I am back. I was checking in with my baby. My husband was taking care of him, but the baby's going through sleep regression, so he has a really hard time going to bed at night. And I just wanted to comfort him because I didn't like hearing him cry. And I think listening to his mom helped him, because he stopped crying, or maybe it was just because he was tired of crying. And when I got there, he was just tired. But he's okay now. We're good. So where I left off was talking about the calls to Mexico. Back in the day when my dad was here, he told me that he either had to pick to make a call to Mexico or have money for a set amount of time. I don't know, until his next paycheck. So that was really expensive. So I'm thankful for that I can at least call my dad. But that's pretty much the 3 personal stories I want to talk about that are related to grief. And in the end, everything you're going through will all come to an end, and there be a new chapter to start. And don't be upset about the things that you're going through, because even though it seems difficult right now and challenging, and like you could possibly not keep going through all these emotions, it will get better. And that's what people tell me all the time with a baby, and I'm still struggling, but it's true, it does get better. You learn to live your new life and adjust, and just remember to always take those little snippets of advice that I gave. To summarize them from what I could remember is always be grateful. I'm sure you guys hear it all the time, because it's really easy to get caught up in the things that we don't have. So just take that moment to be like, I'm thankful I have this chair, this microphone, this light, whatever is suits your case. The other thing would be lean on your support group, continuing to talk to people about what you're going through. They allow you to have a new outlook on things versus just continuing that cycle of your mindset. Really leaning on someone makes you feel like you're not alone, because you're not alone, and lets you process things. And if you don't want to talk to somebody, you can write about it. What else? So being appreciative of the things you have, writing about it, leaning on your support group, doing things that you love, that getting out, even though you may be upset and hurt and don't want to do anything, just get out, move your body, because then it'll snap you out of it. And be kind to yourself, because it's easy to beat yourself up about things like saying, I wish I could have done that, or I wish I did that, and having all these regrets and about your life. Like, for example, I'm thinking that I wish I could have brought my dad here sooner, but I didn't know what I know now. I was younger back then. I didn't have the money and the means. Even now, it's still challenging to bring my dad here, but be kind to yourself, because what you were going through then what you were going through at a certain point in your life compared to where you are now is completely different. So what you think you could have done then, it was different. It wasn't as easy as you may have thought for that older version of you. So just be kind to yourself and take it one day at a time. You'll learn to live your new life, and it's okay to not be happy all the time. That's part of life. We're not always going to be happy. Something that I've heard someone say is that they wouldn't take back the experience, the love that they had for someone, so that they wouldn't feel the pain of losing them, because then you never got to experience that. So someone had lost a loved one, and they said, but it was all worth the pain that they're going through now, because there was so much love and joy that they got to experience. So there's like a give and take. Like, you can't have that love without also feeling the pain. And if you feel the pain, then it's just because you felt the love and you really love that person. And that's just the cycle or part of life. So I thought that was an interesting perspective that I wanted to share with you guys. And thank you all for joining me today, listening to me tell my personal stories. And I hope that whatever you're going through, it comes to an end and you feel strength and relief and this new perspective to life, and that you really feel like a calm and a peace with whatever you're going through. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in with Brick Breakers, and keep breaking those walls. Bye.